live. And good to have you this morning again.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear. Lagos can hear you too.
This is the
How
first
are
time
you?
I'm doing this virtually, so yeah.
Absolutely.
Not as fun as being in the studio with you, Sha, but we'll manage.
Don't worry. I mean, I'm sure we're going to be fine. Okay, so dear listener, today our focus is renewable energy access for small-scale fisheries. And I'll let Adaobi, bring in our guests, a special guest we have today. Someone we look forward to you, meeting and also hearing from his wealth of experience as we talk about renewable energy access for small-scale fisheries. So Adaobi, over to you.
Sure, super. Hi, everybody. Our special guest today is Kehinde Adewoye. He is the Managing Director of A1 Power Technologies Limited, which is an integrated energy services company. Welcome, Kehinde.
Yeah, good morning, Adaobi. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Thank you so much.
All right. I mean, I know for sure. By the way, welcome again, Kehinde, and good to have you indeed. So I know for sure that you have over 24 years of engineering and business experience, and most of this experience has been in telecommunications, right? All right. How did you transition to renewable energy? How did that transition happen, really?
Okay, thank you so much. Having worked a lot in telecoms, I kind of saw firsthand the power problems. I mean, I kind of understood it a lot more deeply, how it was a pain point for businesses. And I say around about, 2013, when the privatization started, the electricity privatization, I thought it would be good to position for that, So that's how I came into electricity sector, as it were. In 2015, we actually started working, doing some metering work, and we did that for about 3 years. And around about 2019, we thought to diversify, primarily because the environment in Nigeria became more enabling. People like the REA, like Olon, and solar technology became kind of cheaper, became a bit more affordable, became a bit more mainstream. And so 2019, A1 Power diversified into solar, and we've done a few things. We've distributed solar panels, we've done some systems integration. And then in 2020, we co-developed a small home system, kind of designed out a small home system, contract manufactured for us, and so we were able to take that to a community in Ibejuleki, and we just gone on from there, really. Thank you.
Interesting.
Okay. Quick question. Really impressive. I read on your website that your company has delivered over 25,000 electricity meters for large and small power users in Nigeria over the past 3 years. So is that a core service that A1 provides?
Yes. As I said, we started there, and we started there, and if I may just even update that information, unfortunately, is a bit out of date. Right now, we've done about 45,000 so far. Yeah, and that we, in terms of, we have a wide variety of experience, both in terms of where in the country we have worked, what kind of customers we're serving, and what kind of projects they are. So in the north, we work primarily with Abuja Disco and Kaduna Electric. We did about 25,000 meters in 7 states, and those were prepaid. So that's a class of customers: prepaid metering, prepaid residential. Yeah, coming to the south, and specifically Lagos, we've worked for Ikeja and Eco Disco. Over the past 7 years, and most of our current work in metering is with those discos. Here we've done about 20,000. We've done residential, we've done commercial, industrial, and we're doing statistical metering, which is metering of public transformers. In terms of projects, there have been different projects. There was the CAPME, I don't know if you know that. There's a CAPME, there was MAP, that's the meter asset provision. Right now, there's the National Mass Metering Project, which, phase 0 has just been completed. We've also participated in that. So yes, indeed, it's a core service for us, and remains so.
All right, beautiful. Okay. Talking about renewable energy is one of those very many solutions that, in as much as it's beautiful and we know the benefits, you still have to go extra mile to explain. Look, it's better. It's safer. You have to do all of that. Let's talk about diesel, for example. Let's talk about the price of diesel, for example, which, of course, has more than doubled in the last 1 year. And I think it's about 750 right now. I'm not very sure. And,
it is.
The average Nigerian can't even cope with this. In your view, right, and an experience in this renewable energy, is it a viable solution? Because some people still would say, yeah, I'd rather go and queue to get the diesel. I'd rather do that. I'd rather spend early extra. That's the attitude you get from the people. So is this a viable solution?
I mean, absolutely. It's a matter of what you call total cost of ownership.
Yeah.
So it's either you struggle at the beginning, maybe let's say you suffer now and enjoy for a long time,
yep.
or you suffer a little bit for a long time, which is what diesel is,
Yeah.
So in terms of the viability, the total cost, it's the total cost is cheaper because it's there. You take the upfront cost now, and then it's free. Going forward,
Yeah.
and more importantly, the cost of pollution you can't even quantify.
That's right.
The cost of pollution you can't quantify. So I think it's viable, and the technology is really progressing. The cost of solar is coming down.
Yeah.
The cost of batteries are coming down. And in more advanced economies, they're even doing things like grid storage. So now you can even store energy at the grid level. So there's a lot of there's a lot of progress. I think it's viable. I think it's viable.
So, Collins, let me just step in there very quickly. This is the bone contention. Kehinde, you are in the industry. You are a subject matter expert. You said that the cost is definitely less. That when you compare diesel to renewable energy, your choices are to pay more now and less later, as opposed to diesel where you're paying continuously. But what is it about this message that people are not getting? Because that's the argument we're always having. We're always trying to prove that it is indeed more cost effective. So let's even not talk about the health aspects, but in terms of cost, why is that message, as many times as people like you say it, what is it that we're not doing that people are not understanding this very basic fact?
I think the huge thing really is access to finance. So I think really when you know that, okay, these things cost X, and in most cases you need to bring up X from your pocket once and for all, then you don't even really want to know. You just say, this is expensive. But in other places, and to a large extent, that's also growing in Nigeria now, there's financing. There's financing that makes it affordable. At the end of the day, there are different models. There are models where you pay as you go. The models where you can do like a solar lease, where you're just leasing, and of course very big in Nigeria now. And that's very big in the commercial space now. There are third-party investors who are coming in, and they just like the same way you pay for your NEPA bill. It's the same way that you're paying for this as you're using it. So I think if that becomes more mainstream, and there's a lot of work being done, good work, Solar Niger. 5 million connections, 25 million homes and businesses. The whole idea is to put solar into people's homes on very, very, very affordable basis. So I think with more programs like that, people are gonna get it more. Because at the end of the day, everything can make sense. But if I cannot afford it today, if I cannot pay for it today, I cannot. Then it makes no sense.
Well, beautiful. Well answered.
Clarification.
Yes, well answered. Now, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Power Solutions on Nigeria Info. It's brought to you in partnership with Allon. That's energy investment company. If you know for sure, every Monday, this day, every week, we get to have this conversation on the radio, and I'm being joined as a co-host by Adaobi Oniwinde, who's the policy and the partnerships manager of Olon. And our guest today is an expert in the field that's talking about Kehinde Adewoye. He's the managing director of A1 Power Technologies, and we're talking about renewable access, energy access for small-scale fisheries. We'll get into the matter in just a moment, but I am aware, I'm one of those who is aware that A1 Power was announced as one of the 13 winners of the 2021 UASDF All-On Upgrade Energy Challenge that received about $100,000 blended finance. For sure, I think that's I'm correct with that. So how did this help the company, and how do you plan to use these funds? Now, before you respond to that, let me go back and bring the listener in about the previous question, or the previous question that's Adaobi asked, that has to do with solar, why people had issues. So if you're a listener out there, I want you to send a message to us. Tell us, if you're not using solar or any renewable energy, why are you not using it? Just examine it and then answer that question, as sincere as possible. Because there are things you may not be aware. Some people say it's the cost. There's a solution. You may just need the information. If you say it's the cost, it's too high, there's always a way out. But I just want you to answer that question sincerely. Why are you not using solar? So send us a message to 0700 or 0809 597 5805. Or you can even send the message on our socials right now. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Answer right there. I would like to hear your sincere response to that. So back to you, to the 100K funds, as it were. Let's talk about that now.
Thank you, sir. I think first and foremost, thanks to Olon and USADF, for the support for this sector, for their support for the homegrown companies that are doing very well. A lot of the companies here started with Olon. So thank you, Olon. Thank you, USADF. For us, the process, just by participating in the process, I'll say we already won. Because, we had to do some research to make sure this wasn't our first time. So it's like the second time. So we had to do some research. So definitely we learned. And a lot of hard questions were asked of us. We took a good look at our business. We had to develop some new skills in the application and evaluation process. So already, even without winning the 100K, there was a lot of value had right there. Now, of course, the 100K, significant, huge for our business. And what are we going to use this for? So we're going to use this to deploy a cold chain solution and 250 small home systems in 2 communities in Ibejuleki. That's what we're doing with this.
Fantastic.
Can I just ask a follow-up question? So why? So it's fish. So why Ibejuleki, by the way?
Okay, great. So in coming to solar, I think basically in coming to solar, we in 2020, as I said, we co-developed a solution, a pretty much an 80-watt box, a small box, that could more for lighting, fan, laptops, very small. And we were able to, in terms of our prospecting, because we're looking at a different market first. We were looking at markets in like urban, real urban. But one way or the other, we had some challenges, in connecting with the market. So we went looking for cooperatives, and we were connected to the Lagos State Fishermen's Cooperative. And we met the chairman and he said, okay, I live in Ibejuleki, bring your solutions there, let us start from where I live. That's how we got to Ibejuleki. So in 2020 we started deploying, and over time we deployed about, of course, being able to pay cash was an issue there. So we had to do pay as you go. And so we deployed about 50 boxes on pay-as-you-go basis starting in September 2020. That's how we got to Ibejuleki.
Okay. Just related to that, I also know that there is a community of about 600 female seafood producers who operate in that area.
Right.
Are there any specific plans to ensure that women, specifically those female entrepreneurs benefit from this solution?
Absolutely. Okay, so let me just go. Okay, so let me give a bit of background. So when we deployed those systems, so over time, so we had issues of, repayment. And I think the biggest issue was that a lot more people wanted these solutions, but because we were self-financing it, so we were limited in what we could do. So on the one hand, we didn't have the finance to support a lot of people. And then with some of the people that had problems, when we dug in, so they're saying that, hey, we're fishermen or we're fisherwomen, the business is not doing so well, we have a lot of losses. So we, working with the cooperative, we decided that, okay, this is something to look at look at deeply. So we took our time to understand the problem, in depth. So we decided with the cooperative to, provide this solution, which will reduce the losses that both the fishermen and the women face in, the fish coming from the sea to the table. There's a lot of losses along the way because of deficiencies in the cold chain. Yeah, so specifically for women, most of the women are processors and traders. So once they get the fish, it's theirs. They've already committed to it. Once they cannot store it, the loss totally is theirs. So in terms of being able to preserve the fish, short-term in transit to the end users, or being able to preserve it a bit more long-term, say they decide to sell later, that's how these solutions will help them. And, right now, some of the preservation methods that they have to make sure they don't lose what they can sell, they're a bit laborious, and most of it is actually by what's it called now? They do wood burning to dry, and in that, of course, so that has health implications. There's some people who, that has health implications. So now with this option that we are providing, both from an economic point of view, from an health point of view, from a use of time, from an efficiency, these are some of the ways in which this will be helpful to the women.
Well, very, very, very inspiring. I know the listener will be wondering, okay, great. How would this impact me? Let me tell you a few things. How many people do even ask the question, with the fish I'm eating today, where did it come from? What area? Who caught it? Who brought it here and all that? We don't ask that question because you just go to the market and buy. But when it comes to the pricing, you want to ask questions. Why is it expensive? Now, with such a solution, it's sure that, of course, the farmers or the fisher women and men will be able to get, more value. They'll be able to preserve their fishes better. And that may affect the price because, once you are not spending a lot to get it to the market or in good shape, you will most likely, it would impact the price positively from the perspective of the consumer. So that alone is I can see the multiply effects of your solution and how it goes. So I asked the question earlier about why you're not using solar, and I'm getting some comments already. One, let me take this one that says, "Good morning, Collins." Quickly, is that the reason I'm not using solar yet is the fact that I need it for ironing because I am a fashion designer, and I'm yet to hear about solar energy with such potential in Nigeria. Yet, I'm skeptical about the fact that it won't be available, or it won't be. It will be too expensive if it's available. I'm just starting my business. You see, the reason I asked that question is because people have misconceptions about solar, and this is just one of them. Who wants to react to that? Adobe or let's bridge it to our guest.
Don't take it from me because that's what I do. I want Kehinde is more of you. You are the SME. They will believe you first. So please, can you answer that question?
Yeah.
Somebody is saying that he's afraid to invest in solar because, for example, something as simple as ironing might not be able to carry a solar load. Can you please educate people?
No, solar. Actually, solar can do, I would say, anything. It's just a matter of how much solar you're looking to put in place. So right. Absolutely, solar can iron. So solar is a form of energy.
Yeah.
Every energy supports a certain load. That's just what it is. Yeah. So pretty much, solar can power irons. Solar can power milling machines. Solar can power grinding machines. It's a matter of what capacity of solar we're talking about. And it's also very essential to make sure that the load and the capacity match. So I mean, as I said at the beginning, solar can power anything. It's a matter of how far you're willing to go.
All right.
I mean, solar
If I
can
can
power
just
anything.
add to that, as a consumer, so all On's offices run completely on solar. There's about 18 of us in those offices. We're using ACs, we're using high-tech equipment, and it's run on solar. So, fashion designer, I promise you, you can use an iron on solar.
And if I may say, fashion designer, there are solar-powered sewing machines. If I may, just to add specifically for you.
Things
Yep.
we learn.
Yeah,
Things we learn.
absolutely. There are solar-powered airports or hospitals, by the way.
Solar-powered villages,
Absolutely.
communities in parts of the world.
So I
Everything.
think that that question is a very important one, because a lot of people think that solar power or solar energy is kind of like less of an energy. I mean, compared to, when they hear from the national grid is strong. But I think that has to be wiped off. And thank God for Power Solutions and indeed moments like this to address such things. Okay, let's move on now. I think Adobe's got the next question.
Sure. Just going back to the solution that you are working on in Ibejuleki. So we understand that residents and businesses in that community actually indicated their willingness to pay for this solution, right? So
Yes.
people know about this. People actually ask for this. Now, is that more from a price point? Two questions. Is that more from a price point or from a health perspective? And second question is, so how affordable is your solution?
Okay, thanks, Adaobi. I think from an awareness perspective, I will say that we were not the first to get to that community. To be honest, they had. We met some. Relatively wasn't totally virgin, but affordability. I think affordability and information. I think when we got their expectations of what this can do and what this can't do, was an issue, and affordability clearly was an issue. Still an issue. So in polling people and in developing this project, it was very clear that. So our systems that we took there were self-financed, as I said, mostly 6 to 12 months at the most, because this was self-financed. So we got an indication that, if this was 18 to 24 months, maybe it was a bit longer period, and then the monthly fee will become lower. That was doable for them. And, and that with the all-on grant that we're getting, that we've been able to do because we have access to funding to do that now. So the systems that we're putting in now, we're putting in two different kinds of systems. There's a smaller 80 watt and a bigger 180 watt that can do a lot more things. And we're looking at a monthly repayment now of about 7,500 to like 12,000 monthly over 18 to 24 months. And Another experience we had then was we just supplied a solar box. That's what we could supply. So people wanted fans. Of course, the solar box itself came with some lights, but people, of course, wanted fans, and that was a challenge because a fan by itself, for a lot of people, believe it or not, they couldn't buy it at once. So this solution now, we are bundling it with fans. We're bundling it with fans, with radio, small touch. So they could do a bit more things now. So there's lighting, there's cooling, there's a bit of entertainment, and they have all of that in one price. So I think it's affordable. Relatively coming from what we did before. So I think it's affordable. In terms of the cold chain solution itself, that's the big one. A cold room is not, a cold room is tens of millions of naira. So the solution we have here, it's cooling as a service. You need to own a cold room. Just bring your stuff there and you pay daily. We're looking at about 150 to 200 naira a day for your produce. And then additionally, a big thing that we found there was the scarcity of ice block. The ice block, the price fluctuation could be very wild, very wide depending on our availability. So we're finding that you could buy a bottle of Coke today for 150. If it's cold, tomorrow it could be 250 because there's no ice today. So we have an 800 kilogram capacity ice block maker in this solution. And we're looking to do ice block at about 100 naira per kilogram. The beautiful thing about all of this is that primarily it's all powered by solar. It's all powered by solar. Because if you ask anybody, they will tell you that one of the biggest issues of the ice block business everywhere is power. It's power, it's the power guzzler. But now we're working with a young Nigerian company, and the ice block machine is from a young Nigerian company, innovative Nigerian company. Is very high. It's highly efficient. It's lower power. So.
All right.
We're rolling out some numbers there, Kehinde. No matter how you slice it, it's going to be cheaper when you consider we're buying diesel at 750 naira a litre.
Right, absolutely. Yes.
All right, I think you've addressed all the questions, but in 1 minute, right?
Yes.
Very important question. Where do you plan to take A1 Power in the next, say, 5 years? That's one. And then how can interested listeners reach you? Some people are asking several questions. So how does it cost? How much does it cost? How can I can see some messages coming in? So first of all, where do you want to take A1 in the next 5 years thereabout? And how can interested individuals listening right now connect with you?
Okay. All right. So for the moment, we want to focus on powering agriculture. In the immediate, we want to do more of the small scale fishery sector, where the participants live, work, and play. We want to bring renewable energy there. That's what we want to do there. I want to expand our small home system solutions, and of course on the metering side, there's a lot to do there. There's a new program now to install about 4 million meters in Nigeria. We think that's going to be a game changer because our whole power sector has an issue of liquidity. So if you put these 4 million meters there, that's going to solve that problem. So those are the immediate things that we want to do right now. Yeah. So in terms of reaching out to us, our website, we are at a1powertechnologies.com. We have our Instagram handles. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram at A1PowerTech. And in terms of telephone, we can reach us on our customer service line at 0701 806 5602.
All right, thank you very much. And that'll be that'll be it for the show today. I must say thanks to both of you. First of all, my co-hosts, the beautiful Adaobi and Oniwinde. Thank you for being a part of this indeed. And to the amazing guest, of course, you've done justice to the questions. We say merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for that. And that's it.
Thanks, Collins. Thanks, Adaobi.
Thank you very much, both. Collins, I've missed you. This virtual ain't working for me, so hopefully I'll see you in the studio next time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Hopefully. Nice meeting you.
Absolutely.
Nice meeting you.
Take care. Bye.
Goodbye.
All right, that's it for Power Solutions. Join us again next week for another episode. In the meantime, stay tuned. The news coming up, and I can see Wembimo Adewoye on standby to bring you Africa's most authentic news bulletin. I'll say that with my full chest. God bless you. My name is Collins. Teke. Bye for now.
When it matters most, turn on your choice for the best of sports.
Manchester United 3, AFC Bournemouth 1.
News and great conversations.
Ken has never changed anybody. It has only hardened people. Please let them ban it completely.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.